Now that Dapper Laughs has actually consented, feminists simply aren't interested in talking to him. I think that goes to show that rape jokes are more about power than sexism. If he really just wanted the pressure off, he should have given in sooner. He's not fooling anyone. Everyone knew that he knew when he left his house with that joke, he'd draw a certain kind of attention. Can you blame anyone for going after him with such penetrating accusations? It's ridiculous to think that he could object to all these people grasping at him. Though to his credit, at the very least, he did not prepare or try to defend himself from the situation. Now that is progressive thinking. I think the biggest problem here is that just because someone has apologized in a past situation and may apologize in a future situation doesn't mean you can force an apology on them now. Having been ganged up on by outlets that are much bigger than him, it's clear that he has had a traumatic experience that will affect how he approaches certain situations for the rest of his life. In seriousness, everything I'm reading about this is a disappointment. Perhaps the most hilarious example being an open letter signed by 44 comedians trying to say that Dapper Laughs is not pushing it boundaries, and, in doing so, creating a distinct boundary at which his humor pushes. The way this comedian, Dapper Laughs, tries to deal with this situation is also extremely disappointing. This is not a game that should need to be played. He was a comedian and he was at a show. The context tells everyone that this is a performer, and this is a context in which it should be safe for anything to go, unless it's a comedian who is family friendly, which this guy clearly is not and does not bill himself as such. The reason I am disappointed is that I cannot stand behind this guy. He is yet another person folding and giving authority to the idea that there are unsayable, unthinkable ideas. If you can't say whatever you want in comedy, where the fuck can you say it? And yeah, I wouldn't recommend going around saying this in everyday life, unless you know the context is right. But in comedy, everything needs to be able to go, otherwise it is not comedy, it's something else. If it really is comedy, it doesn't matter that anything goes because it is all about humor. If you're going to go ahead and say, this is on the menu for comedy, this isn't, that tells me that you have a broken, vicious, nasty view of comedy. To you, it is power, hierarchy, and something that you need to control. You want to clamp the one place where I think it's absolutely safe to touch anything. If you can't do it in comedy, if you can't touch anything in comedy, where can you touch on anything? That is, touch on anything without the approval of the PC police. Should we not have anywhere you can do that? Do you not think that concept is incredibly valuable to mankind? Because I do. And I think a world without that concept is a world without a vital cultural safety mechanism. And it's worth being hurt, it's worth being offended to leave that completely free. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.